Number 162 in the Criterion collection is Lynne Ramsay's Ratcatcher, a movie that I really should have seen long before now. If it wasn't for my friend Joel sending me a copy and forcing me to sit up and pay attention to this one, I don't know how long it would have taken me to watch this. I utterly adored this film. It was fantastic. It was entirely my cup of tea. It's set around Glasgow in the 70s as we follow the young man James, who's 12-year-old, who sees his world slowly kind of crumbling down as everything's starting to change round about him. They are living in tenement buildings, large blocks of flats that are not fit for living. The councils are starting to rehouse people into proper homes, so some of the families and that roundabout are starting to move away. The Gillespie family, of which James is part of, he's hoping to get moved at some point. Their father, played by Tommy Flanagan, doesn't seem to work as a bit of an alcoholic.
See your ma. She's 1 in a million.
Dad, shut up. Try to watch us.
But seems to have his heart in the right place at certain points. And we kind of watch James as he moves through this land, a world that is building up with rubbish because there is a strike on and nobody's taking away the waste, so it's just building up in the streets. It's causing an abundance of rats, and we pretty much follow the youth of these tenement blocks as they just go about their day-to-day business.
Yeah, leave him alone. Don't. Yeah, leave him alone, man.
1, 2.
You're after the wee guy. 3.
When James meets Margaret Ann, a young 14-year-old who's wayward as well, who's looking for a connection, she kind of makes it with James, and it's a lovely kind of relationship, kind of platonic, as they just feel comfortable with each other, and they kind of don't point to each other's faults. They see each other doing things that they shouldn't do, acting the way they shouldn't do, but it's never brought up. It's not a condescending or a chastising or challenging relationship that they have. It's just one of need and want. They both want that comfortability, that need, that feeling of love and longing, and they give it to each other unconditionally, and it's a lovely relationship throughout the film.
James, do you love me? Aye.
And just seeing relationships in general throughout the film is just wonderful. And this hits home because these are my kind of people. People I know, people who I've seen throughout my kind of life, or variations of, who talk a similar way to myself, which leads me to one of the funnier things within this film, is watching the movie with the subtitles on, which has become a habit for me. I'm not sure when it started, but it's something I always do. And watching how a lot of the Scottish colloquialisms are translated on screen, which was particularly hilarious while I'm watching it. Just certain moments that are, yes, translated effectively, but miss all context, and it just made me kind of wonder, what am I missing in other movies? But it was hilarious nonetheless. I found the story of James, his plight, his struggling and fights of fancy, to be utterly mesmeric. This was a movie that just captivated me. It was a wonderful story, incredibly short, showing the sort of bleak times that these people lived in, and the possible bright future, or the hope for that that was to come, and how people dealt with their surroundings and how they managed their life throughout this was just utterly wonderful. This was a fantastic movie with a really dark ending, I think, which I would love to talk about, and I may make a video on it, because I do feel very strongly about the ending, where it finishes up, and I do love a dark ending when it's done properly and it lands effectively, which I do feel it does here. In fact, I think I will make a video on this because I do want to talk a little bit about that. Ratcatcher for me, phenomenal movie, absolutely fantastic. I utterly adored it. I would highly recommend it. It's an amazing package. It's a Criterion disc. It's terrific. Has Lynne Ramsay ever made a bad movie? Will she ever make a bad movie? I sincerely doubt it. This is just a tremendous debut and just showed the promise that she has lived up to in my eyes. I would love to know your thoughts on Ratcatcher. Let me know in the comment box below whether you loved it, hated it, fell somewhere in the middle. There is more content up here if you want to see more of my stuff. Don't forget to hit this video with a thumbs up because it really helps the channel. And in the description box below are links to the Patreon membership program, manvfilm.com. All ways in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.